Hello, everyone. I am your project manager and gameplay engineer. Um, and if any of you want to introduce yourself, I'm going to go through all of you alphabetically. And if you feel like talking, you can speak. I know you can't speak Angel Spunk, so I will skip past you. I hope you don't mind. But yeah, this is completely optional. You can just skip this and I'll carry on. But I'll start off with Babby. Did I say your name right? Okay. No response. Well, I'll go to. Oh, do you want?
Okay, okay. I thought you can hear me. But I closed the Yeti. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so my name is Yaniv, but my nickname in Discord and everything is Bobby 6K. I use a lot of Game Dev TV Discord, if you guys know, and I help guys with Unity and stuff. So I do a lot of Unity. I'm a software engineer. I work in programming with C Sharp and C++, Unreal and Unity. And we're gonna have Blast, and I'm waiting for it for everything. That's it. You wanna talk more or something, Kitty?
Okay, cool. Thank you, Babby. Joe and Trove,
Cool.
would you like to introduce yourself? Are you having any mic issues, Joe and Trove, or do you want me to skip past? If you do want to talk to me via text, just use the KITI Jammers channel and type it in there. I'm gonna presume the mic issue. Okay, well we'll come back around to you, Joran Trove. See if you can sort your mic out as I carry on. El Cape, would you like to introduce yourself? This is optional.
Oh yeah. Hi all. I had problems with the connection. I have like a 1999 connection here, so sorry. Yeah, basically I'm a composer with a lot of years of experience now. Unfortunately, because I'm not so young. But yeah, I also recently studied specifically game audio design. So I'm diving more into this subject. So in the last work we made together, the game we made together, I made basically both. So what else? I think that's it. So we already worked together in this team. I was very happy, and I think also the game we made could be also developed more and could be very, very good. But on the sound side, I think it was very good. Also graphically, for the time we had and the complications we had, we made a great job. So I'm happy again to work with the team.
Great stuff. Thank you for that.
Nice
Okay.
to meet you.
Oh, yes. Nice to meet. Joran Trove, have you fixed your mic issue? Do you want to test it out now?
Yes. Yes.
There you go. Okay, you can introduce yourself now if you
Yes.
like.
Yeah. So I'm Gérin Trouvé. It's like French, so it's normal if none of you know what it means. I'm a student in master degree in computer science, and I also did the last jam with some of you. And I'm looking forward to working with you again because it was nice and very instructing, I'd say. That's all.
Great stuff. Thank you for that, Drawing Trove. Joby, would you like to say something about yourself?
Hi. Yeah, so I guess I'm a freelance audio engineer, and I'd recently started getting into game audio. And I guess my first real work was working on the last game jam that we did last month. So yeah, I mainly do sound design, and I'm just sort of happy to be here.
Thank you for that, Joby. MXI, would you like to say something about yourself?
Yeah, I'm super into game writing and design. I also have somewhat of a passion for coding, and I've kind of self-taught myself that over the years. But I'm more confident on my writing, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for that. Would you like to say something for Abby?
Yes, my name is David. I'm from Germany. I also use Unity. I'm more on the programming side, but I'm still very unexperienced.
Very cool. The Pantangler, would you like to say something?
Hello, all. I've been doing music for a long time. Most of my experience has been playing in like hardcore and metal bands and stuff like that. But more recently, it's been doing a lot of work for streamers and doing background music and backing tracks and engineering for other people who play and things like that. So this is actually my first foray into game audio. So I'm looking forward to getting into it.
I thank you for that, and thank you all for your brief introductions. Now, I want to take us through using GitHub. So I'm just going to create a quick project for us, and I'll show you me creating it so you can see what the dashboard looks like for me. And if I share my screen. I will at some points need you guys to DM me your email address set up with GitHub. But that can be done after the meeting. So I'm just going to create the project here so you know what it's gonna be. So yeah, something simple just like that. And we use something called the Unity git ignore. That will go into the base file, but I will have to put that into the larger game file. Where is it? Like the actual project file rather than just the direct directory. And I'll show you how we'll invite you guys. Kind of settings, collaborators. Oh, well, let me just take that real quick. Sorry about this. Oh, okay. So we'll skip past that part because I've locked myself out. Is what it is. But I'll show you what the desktop looks like. Luckily, that part isn't too important. I'll get myself logged back in eventually. But so I'm going to show you what you do to set up a new repository on your computer. So yeah, you go to the file. Yours might look a bit different since I already have some stuff on my computer, some repositories, like here. But You should still have file at the top of your browser thing. And when you are invited, you'll get something like this, your repositories and the ones that you're connected to. You see there, the jam one I just made has shown up. So when you're invited, this will show up. It won't show up now, but when I invite you, click that, and then you would choose where you want the file to be. You can just leave it the default, that works. But if you have a specific hard drive or something you want to use because it has more space, that works as well. So then you just click clone. It's all happy days. And then what you want to do is like, you always want to be fetching the origin. What this does when you click this button is if anyone makes any changes, it will check and see those changes, and if there are any, you can pull them. Yeah, so there's two things called a push and a pull request. I will give you a demonstration by going into the GitHub. So I'll just make a change. So make a folder, call it Bob. Here's Bob the folder. And Bob the folder has a text document called I love you. So when we go into Unity, you'll see, oh look, Bob and I love you, the text document. The file is empty, but it is there. So this is where all your changes will show up. You can also see history. As you can see here, this is just the initial commits. But once you have changes, you would put a description like, I made Bob love you. Just something that gives an idea of what it is you've done, and you can be more descriptive if you want. And this just tells everyone what it is you've done, especially when they go and look into the history tab. They can look at all your edits and they know what stuff it is that you've done and what's changed. And then you get something like this. Now, when you commit, those changes aren't in the main project yet. To do that, you need to continue on to push. And then you click that. And then what that does is it's now on the main project. So anyone that's on the project will have what I have, which is Bob. And that's an example where you push, and when you fetch origin and someone's made a change, you get the same thing as the push, but this time it will say pull, and that will download all the changes onto wherever you've put the repository. You can create new branches and stuff, but I would recommend just ignoring it for the time being and just sticking to the basics. But if you really want to experiment and practice, you can create a new branch, and that creates a version of the main branch that doesn't receive any little updates and is completely separate to its own. Is there any questions regarding GitHub Desktop or anything that didn't make sense what I said? Great stuff. So that is the basic setup, I think. I'm just going to ask, has everyone created a Unity account? Okay, I'm presuming that's a yes. And then I'm presuming everyone's got GitHub and Trello. Good, good, good. And if you're on using the white version of Unity, I did specify, but it should be, you can check if you want, 2021.3.18 F1. That is the version that we are using. Assume everyone's up to date.
Check.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I need to update. I have 0.16F1. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Make sure you get that update, then, and then you'll be all set. Actually gone pretty well. Only one person using our date software. That's pretty good track record there. Okay, so moving on. I'll show you what I've done preemptively. I have created something for us, knowing that we're going to be making something that's FPS related. I have made us a basic controller, so that way we already have something we can work from. You can crouch, happy days. You can one up things, and you can jump. Oh, yeah. Basic stuff. But you know, it's something nice that you can work from, and you can start testing maps out without having to wait for the player controls to be made. You can already start testing array. So that's the meds. I will move that into a N64 project. And I think, unless there's any, does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Is the version you're using, as the Unity version, is this version still available? I only see 2021.3.20
You have the
F1.
archive. You have the archive. There's now the 2021.3.19, I think, and it's a little bit buggy. So go to the archive. There's the archive area, and then you can download the 2021 point. Yeah, and then go to archive, and then press download archive, and then it just put you on the site, and you see it there.
Thank you.
Okay,
problem.
so thank you for
If you
helping
have
them out.
problems with, if you have any questions with Unity and stuff, just ask me. Don't worry. I'm
Unity was the
available.
one thing I didn't have set up, but is that something I'm gonna need as someone on the audio side of things?
Also Git, and Git, no problem. If you guys have questions, just ask.
The idea with everyone having Unity installed is when you create or put files into the project, it will already create the metadata and anything necessary, and you can drag it straight into the Unity editor. I can show you actually. You can see how you have this sort of like assets list and different folders. You can drag it in and see if it's able to be read, and that it's got the metadata and everything. So let's say I want to put an image in. This has got a desktop, yeah. Let's say I want this image in. I want to see if it works, and I want it to have the metadata. Drag it in, and then it's there, and then you know that everyone can see it and what it's going to look like to everyone. But like, this is the same for music files and stuff. You should see it as like it should look like a bit of bouncy like wavelength line. But yeah, and then you can delete stuff and so on, just like a normal file explorer, but just making sure that it's compatible with the Unity engine. And also, it's good for general training and getting used to working with using the engine. So I generally like everyone to get a bit of experience and to learn along the way.
All right, I'll get it set up.
Nice. Yeah, and any further questions? I'll take that as a no, and I think that is all the basics and the introductions, which went even faster, which it's gone even faster than last time. So if everyone likes, we can expedite the meeting onto the gameplay side of things, or like talking about the actual game, if you guys would like.
Game design?
Basically, yeah.
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 Okay, cool. I've got a Google Jamboard here. I'm just going to invite you guys. Should see it in the KITI Jammers page chat thingy.
Okay.
So if you go and you will be able to actually see and mess around with the board itself and add your own stuff. But I'm just going to go through the stuff I've put together as the gameplay engineer. So I've taken inspiration from Hotline Miami, with its sort of puzzling nature for trying to find a way to do sort of like an impossible mission where you try, learn, die, repeat, and you keep on doing the same map over and over again, trying to get better and learn stuff about the AI's different routes and behaviors until you're able to win. And then my other inspiration is Escape from Tarkov. Primarily, its health system. Probably wouldn't make something as complicated, but I think the nature of having a health system that has bleeding, possibly fractures, and other advanced medical issues can add an extra layer of complexity to a game quite easily. And then I've gone on to page 3 where I've gone on more about the gameplay. So, as I was talked about earlier, the injury health system, different weapons having a random number generator to create values to determine what injury type you get from being like shot, for example. Like, for example, like someone hitting you with a baseball bat is more likely to break your bone than a bullet would. And having a very realistic damage model that makes you very fragile, creating this whole sort of very intense sort of space where you have to do everything in a timed fashion to basically win the map. And then these yellow tags are talking about the patrols and AI behavior. AI should patrol and go towards the sounds of gunfire. There should be patrol puzzles, so basically where certain events are locked off depending on what happens to the patrols, or there's certain information you can gather by watching the patrols. AI should investigate player last known position, and melee enemies should run towards a player when spotted, and gunmen should shoot at the player. Players should be halted if they kill people at the wrong times. So, for example, there might be like someone with security clearance that unlocks a door with a biometric scanner, and if they kill them at the wrong time, or they need them to get into the go to the biometrics safe room, they might need to scare them but not kill the actual character, if that makes sense. And that's to add a bit more puzzle. So it creates scene-wide events, and then just for more variety, traps and obstacles. Any questions about those, the pink system and the yellow system that I've just mentioned?
I have a big question. What's the idea with the card game?
I'm gonna get to that. Just wanted to know if you had any questions about the stuff I've mentioned so far.
No, these are just features. That's no problem.
I'm gonna go into the blue tags now, which is kill, die, restart. Dying should display a score based on kill type. So basically, the bloodiest kill gets you the most experience using the environments. Like, let's say you shoot a chandelier and it falls on an enemy. That should get a player more points, and possibly that should take into account how long the player takes to complete the mission. A player should be able to reset scene with one button, so let's say they died, they can just press one button and it restarts that map for them, or they just want to reset, they can just press a button and they can start again, as to spend as little time impeding the player's ability to just keep on going at it, so that way it stays fast-paced and a fun experience. Yeah, and talking about environment kills, having doors, being able to kill enemies, for example, would be great. Like, say you kick in a door and that slams into a character. And then simple inventory, limited health items, and basically thinking at the moment the player carries one weapon and can drop it and replace it, and so on. Any questions about those blue tags? And I will get to the green ones, don't worry. No? Okay. Now, because the constraint is to combine incompatible genres, even though on paper puzzle FPS is covers that, but just for extra safety, I thought it would be a good idea we include a card game element before the FPS part takes place.
So maybe just have a game of cards inside the game, like a mini game.
I suppose so. I mean,
Instead of the game being a card game, like make a puzzle FPS, but also have some kind of card game that they can play if they want.
Like, I would prefer if it would be, especially if you look at the time we have, just 2 weeks, much more simpler. Like, for example, a puzzle card game, or only a puzzle FPS.
I get you guys. Well, I'd say that's why I put a question mark
puzzle
here.
FPS you could do, but the puzzle FPS with the card game, like it's like another game. You understand? If it's a card game.
I get you guys, and that's completely valid. And I put this here as a maybe. So if you guys don't think that's a good idea, we can ignore that and go on.
So the N64, it's 6 weeks, isn't it?
6 weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
6 weeks. You can make systems. There's no problem with systems, but make your onion. How you say your onion systems intact, and then add another system if you have time.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could do like a card game like they do the buy phase in like CS:GO.
Yeah,
that's
later you can do some buy one something.
That's what I was thinking about the card game. The card game is the way that the starting conditions would be decided.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's only something that would happen for a short period of time at the beginning, and it would happen really fast. Basically, the AI would be trying to play negative cards, and I presume most people have a general idea of what snap is. So hopefully it would be easy to learn, and most people would know it. And your idea would be to only try and snap on cards that are good. But the idea is if you just play snap, you also snap on bad cards. So you've got to strategically decide which cards you snap and which ones you don't.
Yeah. When I heard the term card game, I first thought of like getting perks, random perks at the beginning of a game, which are sometimes kind of unfair. Like, that would be very interesting.
You mean like different skills? Like the player can have different weapons depending on his cards? What do you mean?
Negative too. Bad skills too.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
But
Talk to me about features, and then I can think about how we can do it with programming also. Think
Yeah.
about the big picture.
I say these green tags about the card game is something that can be added on. I say the puzzle FPS is the main part, and this card game element is just there to give us extra brownie points and to add replayability, because it has some sort of proceduralness to the game itself and makes the playthroughs a bit different. Of course, they can't necessarily predict what equipment they'll have or what the health status will be. So it'd be an extra layer of difficulty. Moving on, just this page is a simple the gameplay loop.
Okay.
Yeah, player plans, they kill, they learn, and they die, and they get a score, and then they use all that information to start another plan. So simple loop. Hopefully that would be fun. And then since Vampex isn't here, I'll talk about their 64 graphics a bit. So these are some images. I just took some N64 games. Well, mainly just found them on the internet. Now, we don't have to stick necessarily as tight to the restrictions of the N64. We can use more polygons. It just needs to look low poly and have that aesthetic, if that makes sense. So
that's what they wrote in the Game Jam page. It was nice. They said N64 style, and you don't have to have the game for N64. You can have it for PC. They said, awesome.
Yeah, a game will likely be on PC.
Yeah.
But it's just good to know the facts about the N64 when making these art pieces. Just so we know what restrictions the N64 had and what influenced its style, such as the low polygon count, which I calculated. It could render 8,000 polygons at 20 frames per second, which, if you know anything about 3D modeling, is not a lot of polygons. But of course we can use a bit more, but the idea is you want that sort of polygon or sort of like weird like geometry, like shaped sort of bodies or like models. It's good to have it very clear.
I'm not the expert with that thing, with modeling.
I'm just talking about it because Drawing Trove is here. I think it's mainly programmers and composers and sound designers in here at the moment, but Drawing Trove is here, so they can translate my message. And Stern 64 is pretty famous for its meshy, blurry textures. This is mainly by to interpolation of low-res textures, which was a pretty big feature back in the day for the N64, which, if you don't know what interpolation is, it's basically like anti-aliasing, where it sort of tries to draw a line, or like tries to imitate a higher resolution than what the texture actually is. But unfortunately, due to the size of the cartridge, it could only fit 4 to 64 megabytes of data on the cartridge, and the RAM buffer could only accept textures of a size of 64 by 64 pixels. It generally created this mushy sort of texture, the mixture of the low res and the interpolation, which is just the style of the N64. If you turn off interpolation, you'll get a more PlayStation vibe. But since we're going for the N64, mushiness is generally pretty desired. And then another thing that's common is repeating textures or creative reuse of textures, which you'll find is like a lot of time they use like a little they'll use a color palette texture, or you just find the texture just reused a lot, or like different parts of the texture reused. So like for example with this little soldier dude where he's got the highlight on his legs, that could be used for like the arms, for example, and that would be a way of like saving the texture space. Oh yeah, and another thing to think of is shadows didn't really exist for these games. They didn't have realistic lighting. If you can see in all the examples, the most shadow you get is like a little ball at the bottom. This one's probably the most advanced, but that's like just for the main character and only that. For the most part, it uses diffuse textures only, which is just the colour and that's it. So it doesn't have that lighting, but you can still create some nice stuff, and you can imitate lighting by drawing on shadows onto the models themselves. And then going from realistic to realistic to stylized. Yeah, we have two sides of the spectrum. We have the golden eye. There we go in the Star Wars. You have your perfect dark, pretty realistic, going into the middle, and then you have stuff like the Legend of Zelda, and then Banjo-Kazooie, which are completely stylized. So, depending where we sit, oh sorry, I'll zoom in. Because they can have different styles depending on how much stylization you have. Unfortunately, Vampex isn't here, so I'm just gonna ask Jorintrove, what type of graphics would you prefer, realistic or stylized in your opinion? Which do you think would be best for the project, taking into regards the nature of the gameplay?
Since we're going for like shooter stuff, I think a more realistic style would be preferable, because the more like on this one we see on the top right is more for cartoon stuff, but we are just shooting at people, so it's more if it looks as realistic as possible, I think.
Yeah, I think that can look pretty cool, especially because the jank is more apparent with realism. Yeah, I guess it will put it as we're going for a realistic style since Vampex isn't here, and thank you for deciding that, Jorintrove. I left these other slides empty for you guys to fill in since I you might want to put something about it being realistic in the art guides, Jorintrove. But then there's other stuff. I'm going to talk about the story since MXI is here. I just want to think what type of story you'd like to make, or what ideas you want.
Yeah, so I've been really liking the ideas said so far, but I think it's important to think about if we're doing a puzzle, is that going to, like a puzzle-based shooter, is that going to be narrative based? Like, is there going to be a reason that they're going through these puzzles within the context of the game? Or is it just going to be that's what we presented as the game and they're doing it? So I was just wondering about that.
With regards to that, yeah, the game's not going to necessarily be narrative driven. The story's not going to be sort of like on the back burner, but sort of present. Basically, the main thing is like environmental storytelling, or like who this character is and why they're doing the thing that they're doing. if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
So it's something that's not too deep, if you know what I mean. It's something
Yeah, and
easier
so
to
it's
read
the
in
story
face
that could be
value.
conveyed through everything else is what I'm hearing, not through like dialogue and narration and that kind of stuff.
Also, as well, there's the maps themselves, and it would be nice if there was like a story behind the map. Like, for example, let's say like one of the maps, it's like a mob boss, and like you've been like hired to take them out, and you just gotta go through all the different sections, and maybe there's a room with a bunch of like, let's say, people packing drugs, or like a drug farm or something. But that would be all like environmental storytelling, and like you have the offices and stuff, like thinking about the area and space it's in, like the story behind that and what it tells us from just viewing it.
Yeah, I love that.
So yeah, it's not really like so it's a bit more of a different approach to storytelling, if you get my drift.
Yeah, I'm totally with that, and also I kind of do like the idea of not notes as in storytelling, like where a player can stumble upon like a piece of paper or like a flyer or something, but like maybe a flyer for an event that used to happen at this space that gives more context about the environment that we're in.
Yeah, and of course yeah, creative liberties. But if since it's you just the sole writer, I think at the moment, this space on the Jamboard, the story guide, is just I would say your space to fill in, so that way other people can look at it
Awesome.
and see what it is you're doing, and how to stay in line with the story, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
perfect.
for example, you might decide like a time period, and that's useful to any of the 3D modelers, because the 3D modelers might be making like spaceships and space weapons, but it might be set in the 60s. So stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Yep, perfect.
But yeah, when you're able, come up with some stuff inside there. I am going to I think you could just do some stuff in the story guide and come back to you, and you can explain it to us later, because I'm just going to talk about music and sound design now, if that's all right with you, XI.
Yep, I'll work on that.
Mm-hmm. Just create a basic outlook, just so that we have something to talk about. Okay, and then okay, are you there?
Yeah, well, the reference is like in that age there was like advanced MIDI. It was not or not acoustic music. So we have some technical reference. And
N64. I think of sound fonts.
Yeah, and as the Pentacle is here, I would like to propose him like an idea I had to collaborate because we are three composers, and I think we are all good. We have all many skills which are basically also different, and so I would like to propose, like, I don't know, we start this music, for example, the combat music, or I don't know, the menu music, and for example one of us makes the beat, the other one makes the melody, and the other one could put the background. So every music, every piece of music is like made.
I get you. So every piece is a collaborative piece. Yeah, that's something that could be useful in the music guide for your probably mainly your team and anyone in the sound design. But yeah, that sounds all good. I think, yeah, as I keep it in mind the technical limitations of the time, as you said. But I think for the type of gameplay and its fast-paced nature and the restarting, I think something very energetic would suit the vibe of the gameplay, if that makes sense.
Sorry, you cut out there.
Oh, I think something energetic.
Oh, sorry, I lost.
Oh, wait. Right,
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, something energetic to suit the energy of the fast-paced nature. But besides from that, it should, I say it's just having a lot of music, so that way it doesn't seem repetitive, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll talk with the other composers. And about about sound. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, for the music, it depends on how many pieces we have to make it. I think, because we have like just one chase music, like very energetic. That's a question. Otherwise, we have 3 pieces or a music menu, and I don't know, and then one level and then another level. We have to discuss about it. How many music pieces we need. So, but yes, we have the sound references. I mean, we can discuss about it. And about the sound, of course, we have realistic sound. The weapons, I think, will be realistic, not kind of magic sounds, I guess.
Yeah, I don't. There really wasn't a lot. I mean, it's a limited system by today's standards, but it could do. The N64 could do like CD quality audio.
Yeah. Yeah, but not so much acoustic music. I mean,
I need to use the toilet, so if you could, I'd like you to talk to each other while I'm gone about your ideas about the music, story, and graphics altogether, and then I'll be back. Sorry. Speak to each other, damn it.
I'd be inclined to wait for more narrative or thematic information before I really dove into music.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think that'd be the way to go. It's kind of hard to get sort of started if we don't really know what things look like just yet.
Yeah, one note, I can't make any edits on the story guide sheet because I don't have edit access yet. But one, as for time period, which I think would probably affect the music, I do think we should probably go more futuristic because we'll have more freedom with the puzzles. Where I'm thinking once you go to a space, like once you arrive at a scene or a space, the puzzle can be somewhat trying to understand the history of that space or what happened there. Why is everything the way that it is? And in a future setting for players, at least it's more interesting to learn rather than.
So, sort of like cyberpunk, space, futuristic kind of music.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking something future techno of a sort.
Sure.
Like, what's
But
about
I obviously want to get her thoughts on that too.
I guess put request edit access on the thing so that you can do it, so that she can, when she comes back, she can give us
Yeah, I did
access.
that.
Okay, so we'll just sort of have to wait, and then we can start writing notes.
it's about a more dark humoristic take on the game. Do you like that?
I'm all about
Yeah,
humor in games, but
Oh, sorry, go on.
oh, that was all I had. I'm all for it, but I get it if that's not the style that people want to go for.
Yeah, that's basically what I was going to say too. That's something that I enjoy, but I know that not everybody enjoys, and so we should make sure that everybody's on board with that before going forward.
Of course.
Yeah, if we go to in the cyberpunk or something like this, it's also nice for the music because we could go more metal, energetic, maybe metal symphonic. I don't know, but could be very inspiring also for the music.
Like a Doom style of music. I think that would be cool.
The Mick Gordon stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, also with some kinds of electronic. I mean, we are three different composers, and I think it could be very good. And also the audio is one of the parameters in the jam. So if you make a good job, very creative, we have all the time, and so yeah, the futuristic theme is always interesting for the music also because you can experiment like with graphics.
By the way, you have editor privileges now. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, me being like, hey, yeah, to start working on that. Meanwhile, giving them just viewer privilege. But yeah, I get the general vibe that you seem to be going for. That's a cyberpunk futuristic vibe, and I do think some doom-styled music would fit nicely with the gameplay. I'd like to ask, are you there, Babby?
I'm here, yeah.
Okay, Babby and David, I'd like to know what your opinions are on the gameplay for programming wise.
I need to
Like,
understand first. So
I'm-
we're wait. I'll move to headphones. Maybe you hear me twice.
What I mean is, how confident do you guys feel about working with me programming these systems?
Like, I'm not very
Okay, I'll
experienced.
talk and then ask some questions, and then I can tell you the how long it can take and what's all the structure. So we got an FPS puzzle game, yeah. So people like you shoot people, they die, and you get score from it, and then you use it to do what exactly? Buy items and stuff. And then you use the items to kill all the stuff and buy health. And you have environmental kills like AoE kills, stuff like that. Yeah. Up until now, I'm okay.
Yeah, that's a sort of a general gist. I was thinking more of it just being
Can
for
you
the
hear
sake.
me or not?
Yeah, I heard you.
I don't know. Wait. Maybe I cannot hear you. I
Oh.
think it's again interfering with me. 1
Mm,
second.
Maybe we should decide which features are really important. Like maybe the Moscow
Now I can hear
principle.
you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Kind of sorted more.
Okay, I'm gonna put a orange tag on what we consider important.
Yeah, Moscow. It's like must
I
should.
want the must things, yeah.
Yeah, must, should, could, and don't. I think.
Player
I've
does what?
Won't. Won't, of course.
Player
Won't.
shoots stuff with what items, what weapons.
well,
Yeah,
the
like
I
How he
what
kills.
must be in the game, what could be, what should be in the game, and what could maybe be in the game, and there's the last category is what won't be in the game.
okay. With no, I'm probably gonna make an extra frame here for what you guys are talking about, so you can tag it.
Mm.
Yeah. Page 4 if you wanna use that program it, guys. Yeah, the full weapons.
Oh, okay.
I
Tell
think
me.
we'll both need melee and ranged, so that way the player will be able to kill enemies with melee and with range. But obviously, ranged being limited by its ammunition, and melee being limited by range.
What do you think of putting in a cover mechanic?
Do in a sense, but I don't think there'll be much cover, or it'll be too fast paced for cover to be used effectively.
So
If
they
that
can
makes
use melee and range, yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the
What
idea.
about the health? How is the health system? How many shots they die? How many melee they die?
I would say 2 shots they die.
2 shots die, 2 melee die. Also, yeah.
Yeah, but like when
What's
they survive an attack, they get like an injury from it, and they have limited health items to regen health, so like a first aid kit. But like if they have like a broken bone or something, they can use something like splint with them
So
bleeding.
there's pickups also, yeah. Pickups on the floor that they pick up to have
Yes.
health. Yeah.
like
Okay. And also weapons. They can swip weapons and stuff on
Yeah,
the floor.
they abandon their current weapon for whatever they pick up.
Okay. Okay. So far, so far sounds good for the scope. What else? Environmental kills. You mean like the door close and then they, or sorry, door close and then they're like die, or they're what? What do you mean environmental kills? Just throw a
So
grenade?
so
What does it
like
mean?
the 2 examples I gave earlier were for example being able to kick in a door, and that would be able to kill an enemy AI behind it. So you'd bash in and it would kill the AI behind it, and you'd get that information by replaying the map. That's part of the kill die learn mechanic, where you find out that there's an there's an AI in there, so that way you can knock the door and kill them before they can act, and stuff like that. And then that's for the doors, and then other environmental kills could be like shoving enemies onto a machine, or like having like chandeliers or lights that you can shoot down to crush people.
Okay,
Stuff
the controller that you made already, is it a rigid body or it's a character controller?
rigid body.
Okay, so could do it. Okay.
The
Uh,
the idea
AI.
behind having a rigid body is that we can add some physics related obstacles and traps.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
what
okay.
about if the gameplay focuses more on the player avoiding the enemies, like a more
That is an
horror
option.
style?
Where does the puzzle come in?
It's try the map is the map is so difficult that the player will
Mhm.
die. They would die before they reach 10% of the map progress.
So,
But the
so the player run fast and jumps and what, have wall jumps? What does he have?
I will try to implement wall running and some jumping systems like that. But yeah, the idea is that it's an extremely difficult game. That it's impossible to beat without the live die the kill dot a learn or whatever mechanic.
Okay, so you need a controller that is like with good momentum.
Mm.
Good momentum. Okay.
And the map shouldn't be generated. Like it should be only one map, which is
Have
big,
someone
quite
Yeah.
big.
knows how to do level design?
I think someone did. Hold on, I'm gonna take a look at the. Give me a sec.
I volunteer to do the
Because for now the
level design
mechanics,
in
the mechanics
Entity design.
programming sounds to me okay. Because you say health system, 2 shots you're dead. For melee or range. Does that mean the player also, or the player dies like 5 hits, 6 hits?
No, that's for that's for both the players and the AI, excluding some special AI like probably an armored soldier, and probably one with a shotgun, which is an insta kill.
So player dies by 2 hits. He get 2 hits, he die.
Yeah, unless it's like a shotgun at close range, which is, then it's just one hit.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
So that's where the puzzle is. It's so difficult, it's impossible to beat,
Okay.
but you're learning because the map, when the map restarts, everything's exactly where it was. It's the exact
I
same
thought
layout.
maybe you would do that. Player uses the guns to get to places. Like that will be the puzzle.
We
Like he
can all
use a rocket launcher, and then he like it makes him jump to some place, and then
we
you
could
need to get stuff from there.
we can
Uh,
definitely include stuff like that. I say like there's a whole map to work with here. I'm just mainly thinking on the scope of the player and what the player's doing itself.
Yeah.
okay, but FPS that does physics. I see. Okay, cool.
Hmm.
Like let's say you shoot something, and there's like I don't know, a pole, or how to say, a wall fall down and kill the enemies. That would be cool, no? Stuff like that.
Yeah. I think something also as well like maybe you get like a barrel of uranium or like gasoline or something, and you have to
Yeah, it
use a
doesn't matter. Some AOE, some AOE. I
yeah.
mean, like you hit something, you shoot something, and then some AOE happens to the player. I mean, by mechanics, it means like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but everything's extremely timed and it's very short windowed, so they have to keep on replaying the same map to try and beat it.
Yeah, but I think these environmental kills, the objects should be random placed. If you know what I mean. That
I
so it
think you should
feels
have like
more.
some indicator. You should have like some kind of flashing thing telling you shoot this because you're like going fast or something. Because that's what she said. She said you want fast. Kitty said fast paced shooting and stuff.
Yeah. I just want to quickly get Vampex's input on graphics since they're the
Can you
director.
bring also some YouTube maybe of some kind of fast-paced shooting that you're talking about? Like I think you mean like
Hotline Miami.
probably Unreal Tournament or what? Hotline Miami? I don't know. Okay. Because what I look at what you're saying is like Unreal Tournament, the old one, and like Quake
Yeah.
Quake 3.
I was thinking more limited in verticality than Quake and Unreal Tournament, but you can definitely get to vertical places. Just probably not as well. I mean, it is set in a cyberpunk future, so maybe yeah, it probably would make sense. So I'll go for it.
Okay.
Well, and speaking of shooting games and pacing, I guess one of the other big questions would be reload mechanic or no.
No. Your gun runs out of ammo, you drop the gun and pick up another one.
Oh, so you don't have reload or something?
Nah, the gun's one use and done.
Okay. So there's no reload, but he gets like what, like 6 bullets or something in the gun?
Well, it depends on the gun. Like something like an SMG, for example, would be extremely inaccurate, but would shoot like I don't know, like 30 bullets really fast and just like spray an entire room. But then there might be
Okay.
something like a semi-auto a rifle, which does only like have 5 bullets, but they have to be accurate with them. And it'd be interesting if there was like depending on the caliber of the weapon, there'd be different values for penning armored characters.
Okay.
So like you'd have to shoot like someone wearing body armor a few extra times if you're using an SMG.
Okay. So maybe you don't need to do like two shots, they're died. Like I thought that's why I don't understand the shoot 2 shots. If you're making different kind of weapons and stuff.
As there's 2 shots. Death is mainly for the player. Like they die very easily.
Okay. No, but like my question is like why have like different weapons if anyway in any weapon they die in 2 shots.
When I say, for example, you have like a police officer wearing a bullet resistant vest. If the player's using an SMG, they might take 3 shots instead. But if they're using a battle rifle, it would take the same. They'll take the same amount of damage. Or like for the Juggernaut might be immune to the smaller calibers and only be affected by larger ones.
Okay.
So there's also sort of like a resource management because the guns are limited on the map. And they're more one use.
Yeah.
Alright. I need to be caught up before any more things are thrown my way because I have zero clue what's going on.
No, I'll do you a sum up. Okay, so there's an FPS game that you have some kind of puzzles that you shoot some stuff to open some puzzles and stuff. I still don't understand the puzzles. There's environmental kills that you shoot some stuff and then you can hit some stuff. So maybe that's how we can do the puzzles with the shooting. You can pick up health and stuff. You can switch weapons. Different kind of weapons does like different kind of health system. So if you pick up something and that guy is wearing an armor, so he got less damage and stuff like that. That's it. That's what I got. No?
Yeah, that's the gameplay
That's the
summary.
Yeah.
In more general scope, use for the Vampex and STEM, the art director. The general vibe that we seem to be leaning towards is futuristic cyberpunk. With the limitations of the N64, of course. So you're welcome to use the link in KITI Jammers to access the jam boards. And you can add stuff to the art guide if you like.
Okay.
We are generally aiming for more. Joe and Trove decided since you weren't here that we'd be aiming for a more realistic style, sort of like solid, Perfect Dark or GoldenEye, if you want to get reference. And possibly some of the Star Wars games might be a good reference as well.
Which Star Wars game?
I'm not sure. I just know that there's a Star Wars game on the N64. But
Shadows of the Empire would probably be a good one.
So we're going for realistic style, yeah?
Yeah, realistic with the limitation
With the
of N64.
N64.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Realistic and 64 game.
A good game for like there is sort of a Perfect Dark for some futurism, but like that's sort of near future. If you want more like far ahead future reference.
Turok 2. Turok 2 was a nice game. Turok. Yeah.
There's also Deus Ex. That's pretty.
Deus Ex was nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that gives you a good idea into a very futuristic, but in the view of like 20 years ago. So you gotta sort of look at everything through a lens.
Yeah, but look at Rayman 2, The Great Escape. How the graphic look.
I love Rayman.
That graphic look look like WoW in the N64.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of N64 we're going for. Because if we're going for like grungier, like N64 with extreme limitations, it might be a little bit more difficult. But yeah, there N64 had a lot of games where the graphic limitations were pushed as far as they could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys just talk for a bit without my influence, just so you can sort of brainstorm together. But yeah, just brainstorm.
I'm
and I'll just be
thinking
listening.
about the. I want to talk to you guys about the what you had in there. The puzzle. What's the puzzle? How we do the puzzle with FPS?
Okay, so the mission itself is. I get what you mean. I'm sort of probably being more literal with the term of a puzzle. If I get a definition, puzzle.
You mean a fast pace that you need to do obstacles, you need to avoid obstacles so he won't die. That's not some like I understand it's a puzzle, but where's the real puzzle? Puzzle. You know what I mean? Puzzle.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe the puzzle is interpreting the map design to not continuously die repeatedly.
That's a more clear way. Also, as well, I did mention sort of like timed events or like patrol events. Basically, like for example, you might need to access a safe room, but the only person that has access to it, if you shoot up too early and scare them, they'll run into the safe room. But if you do it, if you killed them, you can't get in. Or or like so you're trying to find a specific time frame you can start attacking and do your fast-paced mission.
Another way you could do it is have like different objects be physics based but not be destroyed when you shoot them, and also have it so that certain like guns that you pick up are needed. Like let's say like there's like a laser gun that like bounces off of specific surfaces, and then there's like a button on the other end, and you have to have that gun. But if you wind up using all the ammo for that gun, you have to reset the game.
Okay.
Be like, oh shit, you know, that type of thing. Because the whole thing of the game jam is taking two incompatible genres and putting them together, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I literally just woke up not that long ago, so my brain isn't fully.
No worry. For me, it's my evening time. I'm looking at which tournament of poker I'm gonna play for like between $4 to $15. I'm looking at which kind of thing, and I'm drinking. My beer is done, so I'm now with coffee.
Nice. Yeah,
I'm living in Thailand, but I'm from Israel, by the way. So
gotcha. Yeah, it is currently 11 a.m. for me. I was up till like 4 o'clock last night working on another game jam that I finished. So this is game jam number 3 in a row for me within a week or two. So I'm like I'm dead inside right now. As soon as I realized my alarm didn't go off, I'm like, fuck.
That's cool.
Do any of you guys have any thoughts on what I've added to the story guide?
I don't even think I got to the story guide yet, so I need a minute.
No worries.
You don't have to do everything in one meeting. Let's just get the general idea of what kind of game we're doing. Then we can make a meeting, start to work on the main mechanics, what need to do and stuff.
Honestly, I think
need to do.
I think what we should
worry and then make a GDD in the next meeting. Make a GDD.
Yeah, I think what we should really focus on is just getting the general idea of, what the character does and get pretty much the very bare bones basics done so that we can go off of that instead of trying to figure out what the entire game has to offer, because we got
Okay.
essentially a month, right?
Yep.
For this game. So planning out the entire game right now is probably a really bad idea, especially considering we don't know how we have a decent amount of programmers on this, but we don't know the limitations from any department, because I don't think I have that many artists on my end, and I think I'm the only 3D artist. I know Kitty said that they would help me out.
There is Drawing Trove is another 3D artist, but them a
The
bit
Forgotten.
them more learning. So the minute,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so
No
sorry about
worries.
that. So yeah, Drawing Trove, and I believe there was someone else. Hold on, let me just Enigmatic Graphics. So it's
I know
two.
Angel's an artist.
Yeah, but 2D illustrators, so you have to take that
Yes,
into account.
Yeah. That I don't mind doing a lot of the 3D work. That's completely fine. I can make 3D models relatively quickly. I just need to figure out what exactly you would need in week 1 and then go from there.
Yeah, I think taking into account what MXI has been putting in the story guides, if I'm not mistaken, it sounds. Oh yeah, you made some good references though. I do know Ultra Kill, a pretty decent game. But yeah, I think MXI is thinking of a sort of like dystopian apocalypse future. So everything's like high tech, but it's also partly destroyed. Presuming is that what you're going for, MXI?
Yeah, I'm very open to any sort of cyberpunk interpretation, but just from my interpretation of the puzzles, I think that this could be a way to do it. Because if we wanted to have the map design be incredibly punishing, having a destroyed landscape would make it very, very easy to do so, and it would explain why there would be so many enemies all over the place.
I think it might be cool if the main character was something like Judge Dredd, and that would explain the sort of apocalyptic state. If you know what I mean by Judge Dredd, MXI.
Yeah,
So
sorry,
that's an idea. That isn't me telling you to do that. I'm just like thinking like Judge Dredd. It suits the theme sort of.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So
but
is this?
Where are we at now? At the story, yeah.
Yeah, people just adding stuff, just like filling out your guides.
Oh,
Feel free
okay,
to
okay,
add.
okay.
Feel free to add more
Sorry.
pages to your stuff as well if you need.
Yeah, I think futuristic might work better as well, because it'll be a little bit easier to just flat out just create things that can work overall. But what is this going to be, a third person or first person?
Okay. I believe I've already shown you a video of the FPS controller I've been making, haven't you?
I haven't seen it yet.
I'll show you it then. Can you see my screen?
1 second. All right. Good.
So, yeah, this is the controller I've been working on. I'll just expand the view a bit. Just the basics so far, but this is just so that way you can test map design and level design and see how it feels from the player's perspective, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So the shooting's not set up yet. I am in the process of writing the script for throwable weapons or throwing weapons or whatever. But you can run up slopes, you can jump, And there's a cooldown for the jump. Happy days. And there's 2 different crouch levels. There's tactical, and then there's low crouch.
Okay.
And there is a detection system that stops you from uncrouching underneath things.
Okay.
At the moment, stairs don't work. That'll probably get fixed in the future, but just to keep that in mind in level design, like just
how is the pace with the fast? How does it go fast?
how does he go fast?
Mm-hmm.
There's a shit you can just press shift and they won. I think when them in the air, the drag is 0. So if they spend more time in the air and on wall running, it might be an idea when they're not on the ground, so they can make themselves go faster.
I don't know if Ultra Kill had this mechanic, but it could be
Okay,
kind of cool to have like the momentum where
But-
once you're like running in a direction, you'll be carried
yeah,
in that
you see
direction
where
to
you're
force like constant
jumping right
movement.
now should be like momentum. How he's like going between stairs and stuff. Player should be like really, really, really fast.
Only did-
Continue from there. That's what you want to do, no? You continue from
Yeah.
there. He shoots something on the floor, makes him like jump to some place, stuff like that. No.
Yeah, we can have jump pads and stuff and whatever, but I say all the values can be edited. If I look at my player controller, first person engine. Yeah, you can control the drag, sprint speed, and the cooldown,
Oh,
jump force.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it can all be changed in here. Like if I put
Yeah.
cooldown to like 0, see if that works.
We'll see later.
Can I? Yeah, you can just continuously jump.
Fun.
Yeah, and I can switch the. I can switch the cooldown to instead of just spacebar down, which it does now. I can have it just check for the general spacebar key being pressed. But everything's separated. Like if I go to my script for the player, it's all these scripts. Yeah, 7 of them, and they all can control and contribute to specific elements. So all the player movement and the physics behind the players in this movement manager. So you all the changes that you wanted to physics and the player movement, you would just make in there, and then the jump and crouch would just still work perfectly fine. So you can edit and play around with things separately from everything else, if that makes sense.
Okay.
All right. Let's see.
Actually, I should probably try figure out how to get my account.
So, is there a Nintendo 64 game in particular that we're really striving to get this game to look like that I can look up to get a general idea?
I think Perfect Dark would probably be a good example. And I don't know if Deus Ex was on the N64, but it would be good reference regardless. For general style.
Okay.
Perfect Dark and Deus Ex.
Okay.
If that's if Fampex agrees with that and MXI.
Okay. And then you said Cyberpunk. You were thinking.
Well, MXI I think is said something about that futurist style, and Cyberpunk sort of generally leans into that.
Yeah, that's fine. That sounds good. Yeah, that should be doable. I would try to, if we're doing like a good amount of guns, I would try to pick a certain amount to start off with so that I can get an idea of how many I need to make and then go from there.
I think an assault rifle, an SMG, a shotgun, basically one of every class of gun, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would
I have a similar
limit the
question
scope.
based
I
on
would
that.
reduce the scope so we could make more fluent gameplay.
I get you.
Or fine
I think we can
Right.
handle having one of each class of gun because it would just be a case of altering the values once we have a working
Yeah.
script.
Are we having multiple types of enemies? Like, are different enemies going to be carrying different guns?
Yes.
Okay.
Normal enemies will generally have some variety anyway. But like, for example, what I'm thinking of is having a juggernaut, and I think like that character would have like an LMG, for example.
Okay.
And then like a special like breacher class, which is what is it? Has a shotgun that can insta kill you. Yeah, and generally just makes you go full. What was it? Oh, sorry, my brain.
Who'd you say is what enemy class did you say used the shotgun?
Breacher.
Okay, thanks.
So I think well, if the I think like the ones that have melee weapons, they should be called grunts. So, and then the main one, which is just a normal standard, probably has an assault rifle, an SMG, pistol, just a trooper. So grunts, trooper, breacher, then juggernaut.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. Let's see.
Actually, grunts should be able to have weapons, but likely to switch between melee and boot ranged. Then the troopers can have a tactical vest. Troopers stick to range weapons. Oh, I can resize that for you. There you go.
Thank you.
Actually, go right now. Give it some color coding as well. Yeah, at least we're getting some stuff down. Vampex, do you wanna put anything in the art guide?
I'm trying to think of what to put in there because you kind of have other things like on the different guides that would go into the art guide, like the two ones before it. Trying to think of what else could go in there.
Stuff like I don't know, like whether you would stick to rasterized textures or using vertex painting, or like the shape of characters' arms, or like how joints would be handled. Like for example, with rigging, like whether you want to use deformed joints, segmented objects, or just a combination of both.
All right, I'm gonna need a minute to think.
Rake up brain.
Yeah, I'm still really tired.
No worries.
At least
take
you
a moment.
made it to the meeting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think so fill in your guides and then I think yeah, the programmers seem happy with the gameplay guides. And have a general idea what's going on. Besides that, everyone else just fill in your beats pieces and feel free to add slides to put your own information on, or if you think something else needs to be filled in. And then just go from there, because this is like this will be an actively changing and dynamic game design document. And I think does anyone have any questions or last things they'd like to say?
Yeah, me.
Okay. Yep. Go.
I'm wondering what's my final role in the stuff, because at first I asked like to be level design and gameplay design.
Yeah. I need you to send me some form of like portfolio so I can figure out who I'm putting in what position.
I
I think we
said,
were mentioning earlier that we were looking for the level designer, right?
yeah. Yeah, I just checked. It is Jar and Trove that said they'd like to do level design. But yeah, Jar and Trove in general is just starting out and stuff.
Beginner. Yeah.
But I think
Okay.
they're perfectly capable of doing some level
Yeah.
design using Pro Builder in Unity.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
And
yeah,
yeah,
so
you can
my
be a level
question-
designer and then just
my
send me the
question at-
stuff beforehand.
they're starting out. There's no stuff. We are their portfolio. Do you get what I mean, Fanpix?
Yeah, that what I just said was that they can do it and then just send me whatever they do, and then I can
I get
be
you.
like, okay,
Go.
that's good, and then give it to you.
I'm going for a smoke. Be right back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
if
I can maybe send you the stuff I made for the previous jam. I don't know.
No, if you don't have a portfolio, it's fine.
Oh.
I'm just saying that as you're working on the game jam, let me see it before you finalize it, and then then we'll go there.
Yeah. Enigmatic graphics. Do you have your mic on?
I think he said his roommate was asleep and he didn't want to wake him up. And I think he said that in the chat for.
Oh yeah. I got you. I don't mind then. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, I just read it now. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So drawing trove. I'm gonna give drawing trove a nickname of a level designer.
Okay.
So yeah, my question at first was like, am I doing also gameplay design or just level design?
Well, it's sort of a combination, since you're working on the levels, and we plan to have physics obstacles and other like environmental kills, like where like a chandelier or something might fall on the character. Like that is slightly not to the extent you probably use thinking of, but that does require a bit of like gameplay design, if you know what I mean.
Well, I don't really know if you have the same idea about gameplay design. For me, gameplay design is just giving out the ideas about how the gameplay is going to be.
Then no, you're just on the level design.
They did all that, so
Yeah. The only reason is it's probably better that somebody who knows programming should come up with ideas.
Okay.
There you go. You are now level designer Jarian Trove.
Wow.
So very epic.
Yeah, because I already have like a whole stuff prepared for the gameplay design. But yeah.
I mean,
I already have some stuff for the level design.
Well, at least you ain't completely left in the dark. You have something. You have something. I just don't want to give you too many things because that's how you're starting out.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, guys, remember to DM me your email so I can add you to the repository.
Do you still need my email as we already have it?
I didn't save it, so it'd be better if you can just send it me again.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a database at some point, but I want to make sure that data is secure. Since a lot of people don't want me just to give out their email, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna put the initial don't try and commit and pull much to the repository when you're invited just yet. Because I'm just gonna put the initial Unity files all in there ready.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back.
Who said those back?
Bobby's back.
Okay, go. Okay, by the way, I sent you the invite for the GitHub to you, Bobby.
Okay, to my email?
It might show up there, but you should be able to accept it through your notifications on GitHub. It should show up there as well.
Okay.
What am I doing? Oh yeah, so.
Yeah, I got it.
Nice. Yeah, I imagine we'll be using the URP render
Yeah,
pipeline.
make it URP.
Yeah, I would look at other solutions for collaborating on the project than GitHub, but considering how small the files will likely be, I think we'll live.
I used packages and then other branch for the other developers, and then just merge the branches.
I
by
think
myself.
you have more experience with this, Babby, so you might have to guide me.
Okay, I'll deal with it. I'm still in my poker time, by the way. So much fun.
Poker.
Yeah, I'm focused. I found a tournament of like $4, I think. No, 321. We're having fun, and listening to the meeting and stuff.
Well, I'm glad. I mean, I think this meeting, Jarvan Trove, do you think this meeting went better than the first time we did a meeting?
It went faster, at least. More efficient, maybe. There was like more people, so at first I was like, "Hola."
You're just thinking, oh, there's more people, it's gonna take longer. Nah, I make it faster. Gonzalez. I think the main things are covered. So if you
Yeah, but you got a starting point. You got like the general game idea.